desperate times require distinguished people to rise up and to serve with distinction. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 5 of Naso. And before we get into Bamidbar, or Numbers chapter number 6, talking about the Nasir, let me just briefly mention to you, thank you to all of those who watch these videos, who leave their comments, ask their questions, who have subscribed to Remnant of Israel on YouTube. Thank you. And also those who've chosen by some means at some points to support. All of that is very much appreciated. Just want to take a moment and say thank you. Now, let's go into chapter number 6. In verse 1, it says, "And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When a man or a woman does separate by making a vow of a Nazarite to be separate to Yahweh, he separates himself from wine and strong drink. He drinks neither vinegar of wine, nor vinegar of strong drink, neither does he drink any grape juice, nor eat any grapes or raisins. All the days of his separation he does not eat whatever is made of the grapevine from seed to skin. All the days of the vow of his separation a razor does not come upon his head, until the days are completed for which he does separate himself to Yahweh. He is set apart. He shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow strong or grow long. And then finally, all the days of his separation to Yahweh, he does not go near a dead body." What is this all about? And why would someone want to take upon themselves such restrictions? In essence, a Nasir is one who would then take upon himself a stricter limitations, a set, if you will, than what the Torah requires, even calling tameh those things that are tahor. That is, as far as he personally is concerned, because of a vow, because of words spoken as a vow from his mouth, he will consider certain things that are actually clean for him to become unclean, and again, it's for a specified period of time. There's a couple thoughts here. Number one, in the first verse, is the word separate. Is it separate or separate? Well, it's both. There are two different words in Hebrew that are used here. The first occurrence where it says, when a man or a woman does separate, that is the word palah, a pei, a lamed, an aleph, which means to be marvelous, to be wonderful, surpassing, to be extraordinary. Separate by distinguishing action, doing what is difficult or being even difficult to understand. Then we see the second word by making the vow of a Nazarite to be separate to Yahweh. Here is the word Nasir. And this is a nun, a zayin, a resh. And it is to simply dedicate or consecrate oneself. So taking both of these words together, we see that a Nasir is one that has consecrated or separated, dedicated themselves to distinguished living and actions that are wonderful or marvelous, to be able to do the extraordinary, to work miracles. One of my all-time favorite authors is Francis Frangipane, if I can say his name. He wrote the book a number of years ago. I think I have it here in my library, The Power of Covenant Prayer. And in this particular book, Frangipane talks about taking your prayers up a notch, elevating them with a vow. Basically, a vow says to Yah, I will do this if you will do that. Now, it sounds like a quid pro quo, a bargain of sorts. But as he explains it, what we are doing in the making of a vow is to invite Yah's power to enable us to keep the vow, and then at the same time invite his power to respond to the keeping of that vow. Yah, I'm asking for power. I'm asking for might and ability. So the power of a vow made in prayer is very important. However, when we make a vow before Yah, we must be careful that we keep it, because Yah is going to require it of us, even if we forget that we have made the vow. How many times have we promised Him in prayer, I will do thus and such if you will help me? Father, if you will only heal, if you'll just supply this need, if you'll give me this breakthrough, if you'll give me this job, then I promise I will do thus and such. So we need to be careful to remember our vows and pay them, or else Yah will extract payment by some other means. So the second word here then, being announced here, says that we must be dedicated, that we must be consecrated to something. There is a great desire among many of us to see signs and wonders and miracles, to see the raising up of anointing, the spiritual gifts in operation. We yearn for prophecy to take place. Where and when do these things happen? Well, they take place when people dedicate and consecrate themselves to them and to their purposes. And it's not to be used for self-glory. It's not to be used for applause for ourselves, but to build the kingdom, to promote the kingdom, and to enhance the authority of the glory of Yeshua being displayed in the earth. So a Nasir will begin their separation by words from their mouths. And then it comes to a dedicated, consecrated lifestyle. It's not enough to speak words. We must follow up those words with intensive, intended action. If we say that we're going to take upon ourselves the vow of a Nasir, then we don't cut our hair. We don't eat anything from a grapevine or drink anything from it. We have to be careful that we don't come in contact with that which speaks of death in our society. That can be a real challenge. Death is all around us. Another quote from Francis Frangipane. I love this. He says, desperation is God's hammer. It demolishes the stronghold of fear and shatters the chains of our excuses. When desperation exceeds our fears, progress begins. Desperation is a hammer. It's Yah's hammer, demolishing fear, shattering chains of our excuses. When desperation exceeds our fears, progress begins. As long as you and I are afraid, as long as we're reluctant, as long as we have an excuse, we won't, whatever that is. But when we are desperate enough, when desperate times sit in among us, then we are called to action, even though we would prefer not to be involved. Remember the United States in World War II, we wanted to sit on the sidelines. When Pearl Harbor was attacked and war was declared by Japan and Germany, we had to respond. We had to understand we can no longer sit on the sidelines. We are now involved. So let's understand then that there are certain individuals throughout the scriptures who are Nazirites. There's Avshalom, the son of King David. There's Shimshon or Samson, the mighty deliverer of Israel. Yochanan the Immerser, John the Baptist, it would seem from Luke 1 that he was to be a Nazir. Rabbi Shaul of Tarsus, the Apostle Paul, in Acts chapter 21, takes on the vow of a Nazir. The idea is to invite again the power of Yah to be present in your life. Some men followed through on it and did very well. Others, like Avshalom and Shimshon, though they took on the vow, they failed, and their hair became their glory. Let's understand that Yah is asking for people to be set apart to Him in this last day. Be careful of the vows that you make, and be sure that you keep them before Him. And may Yah give His power to His body in this hour. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you again next week.